more either?
No, I'm not on the show no more. As far as I know, as it stands to date, Math Hoffa has not called me.
Because he ain't paid not once. Not me, but I'm just saying it's certain.
What?
Just ain't get paid one time. So I don't.
You never got paid.
But I didn't know about it. So.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, please make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _. Alright? We're able to be a little more explicit, a little more uncensored, and share content freely without running the risk of having our channel terminated. So, once again, make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _. Alright, now let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, today we're going to be talking about the breakup of the My Expert Opinion podcast, which featured Math Hoffa, HYNAKEN Esso, and yeah, I wouldn't say it's a breakup. It's just that these two guys are no longer with My Expert Opinion podcast. It's just Math Hoffa, and I don't know who he's going to recruit, but as of right now, Esso and HYNAKEN is not a part of it. Now I don't know what's going on in the podcast world, but it seems like every time we turn around, one of our favorite platforms are breaking apart, man. First we seen it with Rory and Mal, you know, the whole Joe Budden podcast and the whole Misfit thing, and don't quote me, but I think Queen's Flip and the camera guy had something. I'm not sure. I don't know. Don't quote me. But now we have Math Hoffa. Now, if you would have told me 2 years ago that Math Hoffa would have the type of success he's had with this podcast, I think he was crazy. You know, with the whole backstory, with who he is and what he's been through and his anger, and it's kind of, you can't really see it. However, in the earlier stages of the platform, he touched on a lot of controversial topics that not a lot of platforms touched on, debating on conspiracy theories we've heard about in the music industry, and bringing up special guests who sometimes confirm them to be true with their own inside knowledge. So Math had like his own lane, and it was dope. It still is. He recently had your boy Derrick Rose up there. That's the latest episode where he's talking about certain things, and like I said, that's what his platform is about, right? Although Math Hoffa name is the name we attach to the podcast, though, there's others that played a key role in making the platform what it is, or what it was, bringing their behalf to the table. Those guys are Esso and HYNAKEN. Now, Esso and HYNAKEN are alleging that they haven't received their proper pay for their role on the platform, and also heard that Math Hoffa went and did a deal with Revolt for about $2.7 million, in which Math Hoffa never told them, and on top of that, never paid anybody for it. Almost as if he took the $2.7 million for himself and did what he wanted to, allegedly. Now, all this comes after Esso and HYNAKEN went on Pool and Space podcast and announced the funny business going on with Math Hoffa. How Esso explained it, pretty simple. Math got into a conversation with HYNAKEN, and however that went, Math Hoffa ended up saying pretty much, I don't need y'all. So when you say something like that, one may think it's common sense. He's referring to everyone, including Esso, not just HYNAKEN. He explains that since then, he haven't gotten a call or anything from Math Hoffa or been in any type of communication with him at all, right? Now, Space Ghost, who also had his own dealings with Math Hoffa, he now has his own podcast with Pooh. He also had his own run-ins, and it was said that he was filming the podcast and did audio. He no longer does that anymore because allegations of him not being paid properly for his role. And Math Hoffa even told him that all he does is edit videos, pretty much trying to downplay his role. However, editing and audio is a big part of a podcast, especially when you have a big audience. When these guys got to see you, and it's not just an audio thing, but audio is important too. But when they have to see you and you got to construct this and do that, make sure the sounding is right, make sure the frames and X, Y, and Z, the quality, that's a very, very big part. And when you have like a big audience that notice things like that, they notice your quality, they notice your audio, if it keeps messing up, they no longer come to your podcast because they tired of hearing bullcrap. You see what I'm saying? So everything plays a factor, whether it's visual or audio, when it comes to things like that. So you can't just play somebody. Everybody play their role. But in a similar fashion, Esso also stated that Mav told him and Heineken that they were irrelevant. You know, like I said, I don't know, maybe he getting too big for his bridges. Who knows? But now through all this, Mav Hoffa took to Twitter to answer someone who asked him about the situation. And he said, quote, "At Mav Hoffa, heard you signed for a 3-piece extra crispy. Let me get a loan, bro." And then Mav responded, quote, "Don't believe everything you hear coming from goodies." I'm assuming he meant goofies, but it is what it is. After that, he took to another tweet to respond to where someone said, quote, "So Esso lying?" And then he put yup as a reply. Now, in a separate tweet of his own, he took to Twitter to say, quote, "Funny how these guys are saying everything except we violated our contract." Now, that's where it gets interesting, because I was wondering about this, right? I was wondering about contracts. I was wondering about the agreements of what they was getting paid and, you know, stuff like that. Because let's say that he has in writing from these guys the contract. Well, whatever money I get, it doesn't matter. You still get, let's say, $5,000 per episode or $2,000 per episode or whatever the case may be. If they do have that in writing, it's going to be hard for you to dispute that. Now, of course, as your man or somebody you think you feel is your man, you feel a way like, dang, even though I got that in the contract, come on, man. If you get $2.7 million, you got to hit me off for a little bit more. You know, you just got a deal. But when it comes to business, and this is why business is tricky. When it comes to business and contracts and agreements, whatever you agreed to, and if it's in black and white with your signature, you can't argue that. You can't argue that. It's gonna be hard, man. You know, but how Esso and Heineken's explain it, they're making it seem as if Mav is just getting cocky. You know, it sounded like Mav began to get a little arrogant. And if you've been following his podcast, you know that he actually blew up pretty fast. You know, but that don't mean that everybody didn't play a part in it as well. Yes, it's the Mav Hoffa show, but everyone tunes in to a show based on their liking. You know, someone may like Mav out of everybody, Esso more than everybody, or even Heineken more than anybody. It's no telling. But as a collective, it all comes together to produce a show that everyone tunes into. It's not just based on Mav Hoffa. And I really hope he didn't get big-headed. You know, because that's usually the cause of a group of people breaking up when it comes to business. Someone's either arrogant or greed comes into place. You know, and now that I think about it, I can't lie. Mav is really from the street. We know that. And judging from his persona and his background, from what he showed us during his battle rap days, I could kind of see him feeling like he built everything. I could kind of see him feeling like, you know, he could do whatever he want with the money. It is what it is. Or feel like he don't got to deal with anybody. Right? But the business world isn't like the streets where you could just take things and that's okay. That's it. In the business world, they have lawsuits and things of that nature. So we got to be careful. You know, especially with his reputation, people wouldn't even give him a chance to hear him out because they know how he get down and will automatically believe Esso and Heineken. But once again, this goes back to the contracts. You know, where's the contracts? What was in the contract agreements? Because now Mav is pretty much saying that, well, in the contract it may have said X, Y, and Z. They're not telling you about them violating the terms of the contract. So what are the terms of the contract that they violated? You know, yeah. And see, here's the thing too. At first I was thinking maybe it was no contracts because, you know, when you're doing business with somebody that's your friend, even though it's messed up, when you're doing business with somebody you consider a friend, sometimes people think that they don't have to include contracts, but nah, you always must have a contract. Always. It's a must. You know, money will show you who people's true colors are. So you gotta have a contract. But if he's saying that they violated the terms, pretty much breached the contract, then I don't know. Alright, but y'all let me know how y'all feel about this, man. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. Remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm going to keep on dropping. And I'm out.